What's going on YouTube? Today I'm going to be giving you guys a video on the #1 way to farm the Witches Plunder Skulls in the Elder Scrolls Online. The Witches event is active right now in the Elder Scrolls Online, and you are able to farm tons and tons of Plunder Skulls. And I recently learned something new, which I'll tell you here. Just one second, I promise you. I'm not going to do a super long intro. And that is, the cooldowns are different for the different types of Plunder Skulls. I did not know this. So 3 minutes is the cooldown if you were to do a public activity. That's your anchors, that's your dolems, that's your big old oysters in Somerset, your vents, that's your dragons, that's your harrow storms, all those little goodies. Those are your world events that you are able to complete. And that is a 3-minute cooldown. If you were to do world bosses, public delve bosses, etc., your cooldown is going to be 7 minutes. Now that's very important, because that means that there are some areas that I would normally say are very lucrative in other types of events where these cooldowns are different, such as in Bankrai you have the ability to run the Lake Watchtower down to the Sanctorum over to the Summoner's Camp World Boss route. However, with 7-minute cooldowns between, that's going to be very tricky for you to be able to time that to perfection. And I really think that the #1 way that you guys are going to be able to farm Plunder Skulls is going to actually be doing public events. Now, there are some drawbacks with public events because, for example, inside the Alakir Desert, there's about 80 bajillion quintillion people. Everyone and their mom is trying to farm XP. You might just be trying to get up some Plunder Skulls and thinking to yourself, man, I really just want a Plunder Skull. Well, everyone else doesn't care what you want, unfortunately, in this world. And they just want to get their experience, which means that you're going to really have to fight to do damage to that final boss, because if you don't, then you're unfortunately not going to be getting a Plunder Skull at the end of doing your public event, which is going to be problematic because that's the whole reason that you're here. Now, Deshaun not only is significantly less populated when it comes to running this area, but it also has, anchors that are very close by to way shrines, which means that it's going to be an easy loop for you guys to participate in to get these, because you're not going to be struggling, to suck out all of the damage that you can to hit that final boss to make sure that you get a Plunder Skull. Because at the end of the day, if you're only getting a Plunder Skull every other anchor because you're struggling to do damage, then you might as well just sit at a delve boss, because now your cooldowns are lined up and the same. So that's an important distinction to keep in mind when you're considering where you're going to go farm these things. So it's a fine balance when it comes to what is the #1 place for you to farm and get these world and Plunder Skulls. And overall, the rewards in the Plunder Skulls definitely make doing this worth it. Now, this is just a small taste of the activities that you can do to complete, and the first activity that you complete per day will always give you a golden one. However, an important distinction is only the first golden Plunder Skull is going to give you your event tickets. What does that mean? That means that if I kill a delve boss, I get 1 gold Plunder Skull. When I kill my first, world event, I get a Plunder Skull, and so on and so forth down this list that you see here. It's an important distinction because I would suggest doing all of these events one time before you find a route that you want to run. Important distinction too is that you don't have to be doing this as a primary Plunder Skull route. You can also be thinking to yourself, man, killing dragons is uber profitable. I would also like to get skulls while I do such things. So consider things like that also when you're picking an area that you want to do. Do you want to get gear, for example, from the Reach or from Western Skyrim? Do you want to get, Dragon Ream and Dragon Blood from elsewhere? Those are things to consider when you're picking an area to farm, because you can make double the profit in that way. Your primary profit doesn't have to come from the Plunder Skull itself. It can be from the knowledge that there's going to be people farming tons of world events. So hey, let me go jump on this bad boy so that I can get tons of rewards and tons of gold. That's what I would consider. So again, Deshaun is probably the #1 fastest, but unfortunately the speed can be used against you. There's going to be a lot of people there. It's going to be very competitive. So Deshaun is a great backup. If you're looking to farm world bosses, you prefer to kill world bosses, maybe you're trying to make Isabel have a chubby, the trifecta boss route in Bankrai is definitely your go-to. I'm also a pretty big fan of doing the Dolems in Rivenspire. I think that the jewelry here is actually pretty good. The distance to the Dolems is the unfortunate piece of it. However, sometimes that spacing can be a little bit good, as it, there is a cooldown. Obviously, doing dragons is going to be very profitable. Head on down to Southern Elsewhere if you want to kill some dragons. You probably will be closer to that 7-minute cooldown if you're killing dragons, as dragons are very hard to kill. But on some servers, they're definitely farmed more than others. Southern Elsewhere is definitely the dragon slaying zone as opposed to Northern Elsewhere. There's also going to be tons and tons of people in High Isle. However, I'm not a huge fan of High Isle because there's no easy vent route for you to be able to easily take. Then you have Somerset, which is okay. Unfortunately, Clamgall and Powdered Mother of Pearl don't have nearly the value that they used to, so it's not as profitable as it used to be. And then you can consider farming Hero Storms if you want some sets from there, but overall, I think that kind of summarizes my thoughts on what you guys should be farming. Again, you don't need to stress about farming Plunder Skulls too much, but find something that you want in the game. Maybe it's an overland set, maybe it's a dungeon set, public dungeon, area. Maybe you need something for potions, so you need to kill some dragons. Head on down there to do that. Maybe you want, to kill Hero Storms because you want the achievement for killing Hero Storms and nobody ever farms it. Those are all things for you guys to take into consideration when you're picking a route for you. I hope this video was helpful because this isn't a video of, oh, well, this is definitely 100% the best place to go. Because unfortunately, it's always going to depend on you, your playstyle, what you want, what other things you want, what's helpful for you, what you need. Those are all things that I try to take into consideration when making a, quote-unquote best, farming guide for something. So I hope this was helpful. I apologize for the delay. And as a quick reminder, if you'd like to enter into the giveaway, all you have to do is, I would like it if you like the video, but you don't have to. All you have to do is subscribe to be entered into one giveaway drawing, and then all you have to do to enter in the second is leave a comment, as many comments as you want for the month. Drawing is always at midnight at the first of the month, so that will be November 1st. You can see always my winners on my community tab, and I post it on every video. These winners, obviously, are used as a tax write-off, so together we can cheat the government, and I always think that statement will be used against me later in life by the IRS. So if it is, I can probably make a video on it. Maybe I'll be able to recoup my losses. But I apologize so much for being very delayed on videos and stuff. For those of you who saw my community tab post, I work for Child Protective Services. I was dealing with a crazy situation. It involved a lot of drugs, a lot of crack, a lot of people, arrests, warrants, people who were felons, and all this other stuff. It just takes up a lot of time. Crack is whack. You guys know that, hopefully. But this has been Jake. I appreciate you. I'll be making my golden vendor video tomorrow. I will either stream tomorrow, likely Saturday, because I feel like weekend streams are just easier because of time zones. So I promise to stream on Saturday. I don't work Saturday, so no matter how much crack is smoked in the entirety of the county and how many people are in danger, thankfully that will be on emergency duty, as I will be off that day. So I promise I will stream on Saturday, and I just want to thank you guys so much for sticking with me and bearing with me and watching my videos while I'm not uploading or being able to respond as much. So thank you guys so much, and I'll catch you tomorrow. Bye, guys.
You better remember to like and subscribe to Jake Clips. Or you should. I might have to pluck your eyes if you don't. Or, better yet, I'll skip rope with your entrails. Do it now. Subscribe. Ta-ta. Off with you.